What's up, YouTube? This is Joe, the 50-something Dasher, with another video here. And in today's video, I would just kind of like in general, I want to kind of cover the topic of trying to keep up your acceptance rate on DoorDash. So, there's, of course, people that like Dashers that like to cherry pick and pick through the orders. Other people, the rewards programs that DoorDash has is what they want to try to achieve so that they have the ability to dash anytime and things like that, whether it's top dasher or the platinum driver status, whichever market you're in. So some dashers want to try to achieve that. But sometimes there's a lot of frustration and with as far as trying to keep up the acceptance rate that's required and that type of thing. So I just wanted to kind of go over some things to think about to kind of help you out with trying to achieve those goals. Now, right off the bat, the very first thing I'll say here is, especially if you're new to DoorDash driving, the very first thing, you want to take a month or so to understand your market first. So that's going to be key. So you want to take a month where you're taking, I would suggest, take good orders, take bad orders, it's not going to, just so you can get an idea of the types of orders and frequency of orders and that type of thing in your market. I wouldn't worry about setting any kind of criteria right at the start. Okay. Now let's say we're past that stage and you want to start, you got a pretty good handle on your market and you want to go for these tier programs. So I'm going to speak here to the people that kind of like get really frustrated because they have this mindset, in my market, it's only bad orders, or, how can I get 70% when, most of the orders are trash, yada, 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 all this kind of thing. So I basically have two pieces of advice here, and that's it for this video. Two main things that I would suggest. Number one, I would strongly suggest not thinking in absolutes. So I would not have the mindset of like all of the orders are in my market are trash. So there are people, customers, and I don't care where you're at, whatever zone you're in or marketplace, whatever, there are still people who tip in this country. Okay. So, to put everything in absolutes and say that, okay, so like in my market, then, all that's ever comes across the phone is $2 zero tip orders. That's kind of like, that's unrealistic. Okay. So if, that's my first piece of advice. Try not to, have a mindset where everything's like absolutes here. Try to get more of a mindset of there's going to be good orders, there's going to be bad orders. Okay. So it's as, you want to try to kind of roll with the way things are as best you can, if that makes sense. If you're somebody that has to have all great orders, if every one of your DoorDash orders has to be a $35 order going 2 miles, I mean, come on, then this job is not going to be for you. Okay. That's like, in my opinion, that's unrealistic to think that you can just have money like handed over to you. Okay. There's going to be like good, there's going to be bad. And it's just like with my W-2, for the most part, my W-2 sucks where I work, but there's some good things about it that keeps me there. Okay. And I really can't quit at this point. So I gotta take the bad with the good. Okay, so my other piece of advice here: when you are trying to maintain the acceptance rate needed, for me, in my past experience, it was always 70%. I've read that in some markets it may have switched over to 80, but regardless of what that percentage is that you're trying to achieve, if it's 70% for platinum, whatever it is. Okay, so my second piece of advice here in this video is to not just have like one set of criteria, but have like multiple sets of criteria for taking orders based on what AR you are at on a particular dash. So like in my market, I tried to shoot for $1 per mile, and I would take bad orders situationally depending on what my AR was at. So for example, mine, when I had to keep an AR to maintain top dasher platinum status, 70%, I would typically run between 75 to 82%, something like that. Okay, so basically I had like 3 different sets of criteria. So if I was in the 80s or above at any point during a dash, then you could pretty well forget like any order like under $4 or $5 or whatever. Anything under that, I just would not take if I was above 80. And certain like long distance orders. Okay, then once I got into that 75 to 80% range, then I would like loosen up the standards. And sometimes here situationally, I may take a $3, a $4 order, you know, if it's not too many miles, because I've now dropped down to 75. And then anything below 75, like 70 to 75, then I'd have even kind of like lower criteria. And then like me personally, in my, it was about 1 year that we're talking about where I had to maintain 70% each month to stay on top dasher or platinum, whichever. Is about a year. There was only 2 times, I think, in that whole entire year where I dropped below 70%. And that's because of the criteria that what I used. And when I got below, you know, I didn't wait till the acceptance rate got below 70% to really loosen my standards. I waited until it got, you know, I had like 3 different stages and different levels of criteria. So I would strongly recommend that. And like one last thing I'll say to the the people that say, well, you should never take any order below such and such amount. You should never, ever take a $2 order and all these kinds of things. Okay, so I've been DoorDash driving for 2 years now, okay? And I don't have to meet my the acceptance rate anymore. I have lifetime platinum status because of I was in the DoorDash Community Council. Even still, I'll occasionally take an order, even now, that's below $5. And what I will say about the bad orders, whether you're, for whatever reason you're taking the orders, okay, what I will say about that is, in my 2 years of dashing, I have never had a dash where I took 2 to 3 bad orders or whatever, and that lowered my hourly rate, because I normally make about $20 to $25 an active hour, something like that. And total dash time, I make anywhere from, it normally hangs around that $14 to $17 an hour. Okay, I've never had a day where I've taken $2 or $3 orders, and for the whole dash, because of taking those orders, it's dropped me down to like where I'm making below $10 an hour because of that. Okay, that's just me personally and my experience, my dashing, it's never affected me in that type of way. Even with taking the bad orders situationally, I still maintain the, 20 to 25 an active hour, $14 to $17 a total dash time. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. Hope this helps. Just like I said, just a couple things to think about if you are trying to maintain the AR. It's not that hard to do, at least not in my market, and probably most markets. And one last quick thing I'll throw in here is I'm in a market where, I hear these stories about these dashers that just decline, and they decline like 100 orders before they accept one. And I don't even see that many orders in my marketplace. If I just turned on DoorDash and declined everything for 8 hours straight, there's a chance that maybe all total, I might only see 25 or 30 total orders hit my phone in an 8-hour span, declining everything. I just don't see the volume of orders that people in other marketplaces see. And I live in a very densely populated, suburban community in a major city, capital city. So this isn't farmland here. So and I'm sure like there's a lot of markets that are in size similar to mine. So anyway, I'm done rambling. That's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, hope this helps. As always, be sure to drive safe out there, and we'll catch you next time.